That's the final from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn goes down to Georgia 20-10 after going up 10-0 at the beginning of this game. They did not score another point in the game once the momentum shifted after that fumble. Appreciate everybody who stayed up late to watch. I just don't know what else to say about this, man. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and complain about the officials for this entire post game. You guys can please super chat your frustrations about the officials, and I will react to those. What I am going to say is the second half of this game, Auburn just didn't show up, man. They just didn't show up in the second half of this game, and they did exactly what you don't want to have happen. Is they let the officiating stuff beat them again, right? It already beat you on the field to take away a point or points that you needed, and you let it beat you again by not showing up afterwards. At least not offensively. Defensively, they were still out there fighting, but you gave up 17 points in the second half of this game, and you just can't, like, you're up 7 at the half, bro. So all you have to do is hold serve. Just pitch a shutout in the second half. You're pitching a shutout all the way through the first half. You pitch another shutout, you still win this game. You let the officials beat you twice, man. And as disheartening as it is to have that happen, you can't let it linger and you fall apart. Like, the composure, absolutely. The minute they ruled that as a fumble, Auburn lost composure completely. Coach Hugh Freeze lost composure. Like, he thought he had a targeting call there, and he calls a timeout. Like, that extra timeout, I don't know that it actually would have mattered in this game, but there was no reason to call that timeout, man. Just go out there, call your play, get to the first down. Like, don't linger on the officiate. Like, you'll let the officials beat you after the play, and that's what you can't do in that situation, man. 277 yards of total offense, the vast majority of that in the first half, 137 through the air, 140 on the ground, 11 penalties for 90 yards versus Auburn in this game, 18 first downs, 8 of 17 on third down, which is a lot better than what they had been on third down. 1 of 3 on fourth down. They should have been 2 of 3 at least, because they absolutely botched a fourth down earlier in this game. Yeah, again, this is a game that, yes, the officials were terrible, but Auburn had their chances. The post route to Eric Singleton is wide open. You take a little bit off of that throw. You've been underthrowing the deep shot all game. You take a little bit off of that throw. Even a throw that slows Eric Singleton down is a huge completion, if not a touchdown. And you throw it just about 3 yards out in front. And he was under pressure, right? Like, again, it's not an easy throw, but it's a throw that if you want to be an NFL quarterback, you've got to make. And he misses it. And that's a momentum shifting play. You make that play, and you're right back in this game, and your defense is re-energized. Like, you let the officials beat you twice by absolutely folding. Absolutely folding. I'm going to get over here to the chat. Ben Bloodworth says, it's the Hugh Freeze show and every episode is a rerun. Time for a change. Yeah, I don't know. Doing stuff with Daddy says, this is typical, usual, normal Auburn football. Absolutely nothing out of character here. Can't overcome. Scores only 10 points. Never come from behind. Strength of schedule for 5 years. Is that what you want? SOS for 5 years? I don't know. I don't know what you meant by there. Mercy says, another game where the offense doesn't play all 4 quarters. Yeah, they didn't. The offense just wasn't there in the second half. It just seemed as if everything offensively was like, I just don't understand. Like, yeah, they made adjustments, but it really just felt like effort in the second half was just different. Like, nothing Auburn was doing from an effort standpoint looked like it made any sense. You got away from some of the quick game stuff that you were doing that made sense in the first half. I don't understand why you just came out and absolutely lay an egg in the second half of that game. Mike Davis, honestly, don't have complaints with freeze or the play calling on this one. It's clear that the refs took the game away. What's sad is once again, the team let it get to them and folded. Yeah, I don't think the play calling was bad. Like, again, I'm not sitting here like, yo, what was that call on a lot of instances? Maybe when I go back and watch the film, I'll be like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have called that. I don't feel like there was a bunch of bad play calling. I feel like Jackson Arnold missed. Like, he had Perry Thompson for a first down on an easy throw, and he throws it at his feet. He had Jeremiah Cobb there for a completion there at the end of the game. He missed it. He had, I already talked about the Eric Singleton throw. I think it was like the composure of the players is what I have a bigger problem with. But again, I do feel like it mirrors the composure of your head coach. Like, you can't let the officiating thing linger and get into your head and start to make you do things that are out of character. There was no reason for him to call that timeout because he thought that he could get a review for targeting on that play. Like, say something to the officials. And this is part of the reasons, like, stuff like that is why Hugh Freeze doesn't need to be the offensive coordinator, right? Let your OC call the play and you talk to the officials while that's happening. Because you have to call the play and argue with the officials, you can't do both of those at the same time, right? And so he had to take a timeout to get himself composed to be able to get on to that next play, but he was still thinking about the bad officiating on that play. That is that's why you can't be both. You can't be both people. You need to let somebody else do that so that you can be out there and doing the head coaching stuff and thinking about all of this other stuff. Jamel Cunningham, I'm sorry I didn't see your chat because I'm running my mouth too much. Apologies there. G. Hargrove says, even with the refs BS, the second half performance by the offense was inexcusable and someone has to be held accountable. Listen, I don't know. I mean, the accountability portion of that, I think that that's on the players. Like, you and man, I haven't been harsh on Jackson Arnold. You as Jackson Arnold missed a lot of throws that you had there. Like, some of that stuff is Georgia making good plays, but man, you just like, it's like almost every pass that came out of his hand when he needed it was terrible. And it's like, what happened at half? Like, the minute you lost that fumble, it's like they punched your soul out of you when they punched the football out of your hands. I don't understand that. I don't. Appreciate everybody for jumping in here, man. Please share it live with somebody out there. I definitely want more people involved in the conversation. Super chat here from Otis Smith. I've never in my life seen such BS in my life. And I mean, damn, yeah, up 7 should have been up by 17. Don't even front. That's a massive swing. It is. It's an absolutely huge swing. And that momentum swing destroyed the morale of that team. Alex Gray says, officiating aside, the offensive plan in the second half was complete embarrassment. It's obvious Coach Hugh Freeze coach teams aren't disciplined. It's on him. Cody says 2 things. Screw Kirby and that bowl cut. 2, make Durkin head coach tomorrow. Let's talk about Kirby Smart for a second, bro. There has to be some sort of repercussion for him flat out lying and getting a reset on that play. It was a delay of game. If he doesn't get the time, if he's just clapping, then it should have been a delay of game because the play clock was absolutely going to 0 and had hit 0 before they snapped the ball. If he is calling for a timeout and they thought that's what it was, they should award him the timeout, whether he protests and say that's not what I meant. You don't reset the play clock and give them another play. Like, of all the options you had, that was the one you went with. You reset the play clock and let them have a do-over. And Kirby was clearly lying. He was 100% motioning for a timeout, not clapping. And he was saying timeout out of his mouth. Like, that's the point where I was just like, oh yeah, nah, we done, bro. That's where I was done with the game. At that moment right there, I was like, "Oh, we are cooked. They are absolutely cooking us in this game." I was I don't know that I've looked at officiating in the game and been like, "How can you be consistently so bad at this?" Bo Bonner, refs were a big problem, but if Hugh Freeze needs to go, this offense never shows up in the second half. You were hired to be an offensive guru, but I don't see it. Darius Lee, if Jackson Arnold holds on to the ball, there's no need for a review. I've seen enough. So refs were bad, but again, missed opportunities. If the ball is better, Singleton walks in. I've seen enough of Coach Hugh Freeze. We cooked. Big homie Lander jumps in and says, "Fire Freeze second half was disgusting." I agree. The second half was absolutely atrocious. Um, but again, I don't put that on play calling. I put that on composure. But that still comes back to your coaching. And listen, the defense fell apart too. Let's be clear. You gave up 17 points there in the second half. You can't do that in that situation. You were pitching a shutout through the first 2 quarters almost, and you just let it fall apart in the second half. So the defense has as much culpability as the offense in that one. Ian Locklear, I don't know how you motivate a locker room after the BS calls like that. What do you say to them when 2 games are just taken by the refs? That's what my biggest concern right now is, the morale in that locker room absolutely being shot after being shafted in that way. Because again, it's clear that they're holding on to that and they're letting it linger and move forward. And so, like, I don't know. Like, you have to be angry about it, but you have to keep playing and realize that it's not anything that you're doing. You just got to keep playing. But it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. Otis Smith, I guess we call timeouts, then call it claps. Yeah, I don't know that anybody gets away with that besides Kirby Smart, or maybe just Kirby Smart when he's playing Auburn. Exclusive TV. Second half was the same game plan minus the execution from the offensive players. Like, O-line got weak during the running plays. Jackson Arnold, not a thrower, man. But again, he was hitting them same throws in the first half. I'm just like, how do you just turn it off? Like, what what happened? It wasn't bad play calling. It was, they just gave up, man. Lance Morgan, once again, overthrow crap. Overthrow crap. Offense, fire freeze. Um, the American Idiot 01. I love Auburn, but this is tiring, man. Offense, refs, freeze, doesn't matter. We just don't got it when it matters. I'm tired, man. Spirit crush. It's crushing. It absolutely is. Because I was in a great mood for the first 2 quarters and 14 minutes, and then it was just all of a sudden like, what is this? Jimmy Raines says second half equals booty. Where to pay SEC fine to gripe about officiating? Yeah, man, Freeze just need to go and take that fine, family. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, just look, take the fine. You gotta say something about this. Mercy, undisciplined team. They were absolutely undisciplined in the second half of that game for sure. Doing stuff with Daddy. Be honest. Once UGA tied at 10-10, did anyone think we were going to win? It didn't feel. I didn't feel like it. I felt like maybe they could muster something up, but the minute that whole timeout thing happened, I was completely like, "Oh yeah, there's no way. There's no way Auburn's winning this game." Otis Smith, 2 games with the refs controlling the game. How do you motivate your guys? What do you say to your guys when you know they do, guys, when they know whatever they do, it won't matter? Again, I don't know what you say to them, but you got to figure it out. That's what you're getting paid $6 million a year for. Preston Herring, Hugh is not the man to lead this team because a real leader would have got his team through this BS game. BS this game gave us, excuse me, poor culture, poor QB evaluation. Dwayne Logan, tired of seeing the defensive efforts go to waste. Yeah, we got screwed by the refs, but we still had a lead and laid an egg in the second half. War damn Eagle. Agreed with that. Cleveland Brown said, even with us getting screwed by the ref, Hugh had his chances to overcome the adversity, but fell short. Hugh ain't the guy. Again, like, There was wide open receivers. Jackson Arnold was throwing it at his feet. Like, I don't know how much you. And again, I agree, and I've already said my piece about how I feel like Hugh Freeze lost his composure a little bit. I don't know that you put that completely on Freeze though. Like stuff was there. You just got to hit it. Garrett Weaver, Indiana head coach, looking like a real good candidate. I don't know that you want a head coach that's that old to be taken over, but he's a very good coach. Ben Bloodworth, if Bruce Pearl's line about a cookout equals firing show cause, what should Kirby lying about a timeout earn him? It's going to earn him a college football playoff spot. Oda Smith says, if we're going to have another suck ass season, I'd rather have it with Deuce as QB. Listen, at this point in time, like, it's so difficult, right? Because Jackson Arnold played so well in the first half of that game. It's like, do you bench him for how he played in the second half of that game? Maybe. But you got some point in time, you got to figure out what lever to turn here. Doing stuff with Daddy. Auburn exists only to be a hard out to pad resumes to other SEC teams. Feels like that right now. Oda Smith, NCAA banned and a 2-year probation, refs fired and banned. Ain't none of that gonna happen. Um, uh, 14 Mr. H says, I feel pretty firm Jackson needs to be benched. Jackson did miss a lot of throws after the fumble. Also does another QB fumble in the red zone. If you guys were on the thing with me, I was like, I wouldn't have even let Jackson Arnold be the person trying to do that. I would have put Ashton Daniels in right there, because even like I wouldn't even want to risk Jackson Arnold getting a big hit in that kind of situation. I would have let somebody else be the person taking that snap and taking that hit. um, I just wouldn't have. Like, if me, I know you want to redshirt this guy, but he would have taken that snap that day. Thomason says, time for the SEC to have consequences. Also, Kirby lying and cheating scumbag. Kirby definitely lied, bro. Like, definitely lied. He hell says championships teams overcome the large obstacles and the smallest speed bumps. We're not there yet. War Damn Eagle. Aim for a bowl game. Yeah, that definitely was not championship medal that was displayed there by that team in the second half. Otis Smith, the game has flew by. Freeze. Darius Lee, Coach Hugh Freeze is to blame for Jackson Arnold. He chose him. Big Unk says, fire Freeze, call Rhett Lashley before Arkansas do. I don't know. Arkansas might be stuck on Petrino. We'll see. They lost again. So, Otis Smith, Vegas is how you turn it off. If you know, you know. Rick Cazenave, refs were good, god awful, but Arnold's only luck is the 5-6 picks dropped this year. Does Pavia miss those throws? How many Arnold misses to be too many Arnold misses to be a starter? I don't know. Pavia ain't look so good versus Bama. We'll see if he bounces back after this. Cool Breeze, Freeze can't choose a QB or offensive staff. Darius Lee. Jackson Arnold has thrown picks in my eyes. The only reason the stats say 0 is because DBs ain't wide receivers. That's a fact. Jackson Arnold's definitely thrown a few of them to the other team that they didn't catch. Doing stuff with Daddy. Cohen needs to, 1, fire Knicks, 2, hire an elite OC, 3, tell Freeze he can no longer have input on the offense. Let him recruit until his buyout drops. Oda Smith, to be honest, the play before the fumble was a touchdown. It absolutely was. Pocket Watch says, yes, the refs, yes, Kirby's timeout, et cetera, but this is the 9th in a row. We have a problem with the program, and that is more than the head coach. And Lance Morgan says, all you come out with in the second half is that no spark on offense. Listen, y'all ain't gonna get no debates from me about that second half performance offensively. Logan Fowler jumping in here with me here to react to this post game. Logan, what more can we say, man?
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I'm sure it's all already been said, man. Look, Auburn had some tough breaks, right? Officiating didn't go the way. That's the comment we just read, right? But he said it. Auburn had chances to win, make plays when they were there, and it didn't. It's continuing trend under Auburn's third straight game with 10 or more penalties. Auburn's defense kept them in the game, until much of the second half. Auburn's defense was on the field for 22 minutes in that second half, man,
Yeah.
and gave up two scoring drives. It, it's I mean, there's a lot to say, and it's kind of hard to put it into words. Um, Super disappointing to go out there and perform like that in the second half. That fumble call, if that's what you want to call it, whatever, completely changed the momentum in this game. Completely derailed Auburn's offense, and yeah, man, it's disappointing to continue to watch Auburn's offense sputter down the stretch in these games, and then something's got to give, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, th- th- again, you're up 10-3. And so everything that happens after that point, it's a whole other situation, right? Like that has to be where your mental toughness shows up as a team, and you say we're not going to allow this to be the story of this game again. And for whatever reason, they could not get past it and do it.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, it to me, it comes back to it comes back to the penalties, man. 11 for 90 plus yards in this game, and now look, again, some of them were so, but it's me and you talked about this in the pregame show. We don't need to see any more self-inflicted wounds. Um, and Auburn continues to dig itself into these holes that it just can't come out of. I mean, Hugh Freeze, man, I caught the first half of his presser before I hopped on, and he said, you know, I'm not saying it word for word, but he said this team has a problem finding ways to win a football game. We're officially 6 games into Auburn season, and it is obvious that this team it struggles to find ways to win the game, and it doesn't struggle to find a way to shoot itself in the foot, like you said, man.
Yeah.
Mental toughness. You've got to. I mean, you're playing in the SEC, man. You this is Auburn football. You run a program with the you know a big brand, and and it shouldn't be. I mean, it's the same thing we say. It shouldn't be the same week over and over again, constantly against different teams in different scenarios.
Yeah, again, it shouldn't be the same story repeatedly, and at some point in time, that becomes a culture issue, and that points back to your coach you know, and it is what it is. Chris Super Chat says, "Why Freeze won't change the QB to Ashton Daniels?" I don't know. Maybe he doesn't feel like Jackson's done enough to get benched. Kyle Sweat, Freeze hasn't done anything for Auburn. More losses with more talent. So what? Otis Smith, 17-0 at the half in the is a world away from 10-3. I agree. If you go up in the half 17-0, and Georgia doesn't get that momentum score at changing play at the end of the half, you're in a very different place for a lot of reasons, right? Not just the scoreboard, but how you're feeling in that locker room changes completely. The momentum you come out of the half with, I think, is very different. So again, there are things that Auburn can be upset about, but be upset at yourself that you didn't come out in the second half and decide we kicked their butt for the first half of this game. We're going to go do it again in the second half. NH3425. Part of the problem is the defense gets gas because the offense can't take score, and then the defense gives up points. It's a relationship as old as time. Your defense is on the field too much because your offense isn't getting anywhere, and you start to lose that momentum. That's what was happening to Georgia in the first half. Like, they were just tired. You were gashing them, and then it all flipped on its head. Z Shady says Kevin Wilson for OC, whoever the head coach ends up being. You guys are all out here making hires, baby. I like it. Let's see. Otis Smith, y'all can hate me for this comment, but screw it. Put Nick Saban in charge of the college football and refs crew, and he dishes out harsh punishments. There's a lot of people who are talking about the need for a college football commissioner, right, to oversee all of this stuff. And Nick Saban probably is the perfect guy for it, if we're being honest. But I don't know that helps Auburn very much.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah,
NH3425, still waiting for a leader on the team. And I think that's my big thing. Like, I understand, and again, I have my qualms with how I feel like Coach Hugh Freeze lost composure. But to me, and Please hear me clearly when I'm saying this. I'm not saying it's his fault Auburn lost the game. But to me, Jackson Arnold showed zero leadership and poise in the second half of that game. Zero. He made one good play, was that first down he ran for, I think, in the entirety of the second half. One, in a game where you were up by a touchdown. Your guy at quarterback can't make one winning play the entirety of the second half of a game.
Yeah,
Just can't be the case, man.
yeah, it's the same thing in this game. He misses Eric Singleton, who's still running right now
Yeah.
as we're speaking.
If he hits Singleton on that play, it's a different game.
Yeah, same thing in the Oklahoma game. Missed Cam Coleman 2 or 3 times for a touchdown. I mean, those, like we said, the plays are there to be made. You've got to find a guy who can get in there and make the plays.
Auburn fans here in the chat, you are about to hate what is about to happen, but it is about to happen. He said he was coming through win or loss. My guy Steve-O from Toe to Toe Podcast is here. We're going to bring him on in here live right now to give his thoughts. Steve-O, before you get started, hold on, before you get started, I'm going to read these last few supers, and I'm going to just let you cook. I'm going to let you marinate there for a second. Matter of fact, I'm going to put you right there in the middle. Super chat here says he hates to use the running backs as we see, will not win with RPO only in the SEC. I don't know that the RPO is the reason, but okay, Yellowwood needs to go. Why are we blaming Yellowwood now? But okay, new member, appreciate that. Exclusive TV jumps in. Sad to say that we may not win again till Mercer. I ain't there yet. Bo Bonner says this offense equals no bowl game. Fire Coach Hugh Freeze. NH3425 says a lack of deep passes to Cam is concerning. And then last super chat before I let you cook here, Steve, is Thomason says, what's the procedure for removing Sankey? Can Cohen start to vote of no confidence? We trying to fire the commissioner too, baby.
Did you see Cohen ripping it into the official setting at halftime?
Cohen was he, I mean, look, he, all right, listen. I'm gonna shut up because you said you was coming through win or lose. I'm gonna let you get your stuff off real quick. Go ahead.
Great game, first of all. Great game.
Disagree, but continue.
Come on, man. The game was a good game. Y'all was up. Y'all were feeling yourself. Your quarterback was doing a lot of rah-rah as he was making a lot of plays. I was sitting back like this is a typical Georgia game, and a lot of stuff that me and you talked about on Thursday night started to really manifest and really happen, especially with the offensive line. We talked about that. We talked about the cornerbacks for Georgia making a lot of mistakes, especially early in the game. So it was playing right into you guys' hands like the whole first half. And I just kept looking, and I was like, they can't put us away, though. You can't really hit that home run to knock us out. And that's what kind of gave me at halftime a little bit of hope, especially when you gave us that 3. I was like, yeah, 10-3, and they've had like probably the perfect first half they could ever ask for. We still got a good chance. And the referees did get involved a lot. Ask you guys a question. Do you think that was a fumble? Of course, I'm like stepping back.
It was a touchdown. It was a touchdown.
I would say if he would have held on to the ball, cool, but the ball is moving as he's punching the ball.
But let me ask you this.
They just got to break the plane. I get that part.
Right.
As soon as they
How
break
long?
the plane,
Yeah, that was my question. How long does the football have to be across the goal line for it to be a touchdown?
You do have to have full control of it, though. I will say that part. You got to have full control. And if you see his hands starting to move.
You asked me a question. Let me ask you a question. The play before, was it a touchdown?
The play before?
The play before the fumble. Was it a touchdown?
What was the play before the fumble?
Jackson Arnold on a QB keep. That's what got him down there to 3rd and inches. Was that a touchdown?
Nah. No. Come on, man. That wasn't a touchdown. Y'all really feel like the refs really jabbing y'all? Y'all got away with so much holding on my defense, man. Harris was held. They were bear hugging my man.
My guy,
Literally.
please,
Oh,
no,
I mean, the refs were bad on both
not
sides. We're
finna
gonna say
do-
that. The refs was bad
we
on
not
both
finna
sides.
Do this, bro. We not finna do this. We not finna do this.
The
'Cause
refs were
if we gonna play
bad.
the game of the ref should have called, you
Yeah.
gonna lose. You gonna lose this one.
Listen, listen, man. Y'all had a shot.
No disagreement on that, but we not
Yeah.
finna do the ref should have called stuff. We not. No.
I mean,
You do
the
not
refs-
get to come in here and say that, bro. No, I ain't letting you. I ain't letting you rock with that.
I think we had 10 yards of offense in the first half. So y'all like
Right.
200 and something.
20. Y'all had 20, but
And
continue.
you couldn't score. Listen, end of the day, a lot of stuff, like I said, me and you talked about. Hugh Freeze at the end of the day is going to only get you so far, I believe. The defensive coordinator had a perfect game plan, bro. Perfect game plan to stop exactly what we were doing. Looked like y'all knew exactly where we were going every time we wanted to do something with the ball. Again, we couldn't get to y'all. Remember we talked about the offensive line and defensive line? We couldn't get to y'all. And y'all were getting to Gunner. Y'all almost knocked Gunner out of the game.
Definitely, Robert Williams put them things on him for sure.
Whew. But he pretty tough though. He's a tough guy, man.
Hold on. Wait. I don't mean to cut you off too quick.
No, go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off too quick. The only reason I'm not gonna put you backstage because I'm mad at something you're saying. I'm only doing that because I got my man Mike G, who is live at the game.
Oh yeah,
He's gonna come in remote. So I'm gonna pull you off stage, let Mike G come up here. But I'm coming back to you in just a minute, brother. All right. Let me get my man Mike G in here real quick. Mike G live at Jordan-Hare Stadium had an opportunity to be there at the post-game press conference. Mike G, what's the vibes, man?
There was a lot of talk about officiating in this one, obviously. A lot of controversial calls, a lot of talk about what his discussion with the refs were. Everything from Kirby claiming that he was just clapping and not calling a timeout and the refs giving them a do-over, essentially, to the timeout that he burned, wanting them to review what was clearly a targeting call, and the refs told him that there was not enough contact to the head for a targeting call on that one. So, look, two things.
That's the actual explanation he got. It's that he contacted him in the head, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's the explanation he got. So, look, man, two things can be true here tonight, guys. One, Auburn had a great defensive game plan, especially in the first half. I thought it worked pretty well in the second half as well, too. At some point, they did sustain drives in the second half, and eventually the defense they gave out. But they didn't really give out because you only gave up 20 points in this one. It was, I asked him, what does accountability look like for you after this? And with an attitude and pretty defiantly, he said, show up to work Monday and get it fixed. The reason I asked that question is because it's the question I think most fans have is the we're so close line is falling flat now, right? You cannot, you keep saying that week after week, but you're at a point in the season where you've established a pattern of results at the end of games. So it's not like, oh, this happened to us this game. No, this is 3 straight SEC games where you potentially could have had the ball to close the game out. And, your quarterback missed throws. There was some debate about whether Eric Singleton stopped his route, stuttered on his route on that missed deep ball, or he was overthrown. Either way, it was open and they didn't connect. And that keeps happening. So, look, the mood from the rest of the media was this offense just isn't getting it done. And I don't think that Hugh Freeze has an answer. I didn't hear that tonight. I don't think he has an answer for how to get it fixed. You had a bye. You had time to prepare for this one. We all looked at each other before the press conference started, Ike, and just said, what do we ask him? What do you ask him after that?
There's and we've said this before, there's not much you want to hear your head. Like, there's no answer he's going to give you that's going to make you feel like, oh, that's the answer I wanted to hear.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it was it was tough. Again, there were a lot of questions about specific plays and what happened on specific plays. And, it was a lot of the same. It was a lot of, well, we got to execute this better, or, we didn't like this call, or, the bottom line is it didn't work. And it didn't work specifically in the second half of this game where you didn't score a point. You didn't score a single point in the second half of this game. So, at the end, it definitely looked sloppy. Uh, I would go as far to say, guys, that this team has no clutch
No, they don't.
offensively.
Yeah.
No, there's no clutch. And for the younger generation, everybody says, "What's clutch?" Right? As old heads, when we say, "Hey, are you clutch? Are you going to clutch up?" Are you going to get it done in crunch time? And there were opportunities in that fourth quarter for Auburn to really. I mean, you hit that pass at Eric Singleton, it's potentially a touchdown. You might close the game out.
Yeah.
You might close the game out on that throw. And repeatedly in clutch time, Auburn is just not making plays. So, look, this was a great job. I got to tell you, this was a great job by DJ Durkin. They gave up 78 yards of offense in the first half and 0 third down conversions.
It was a great job for a half of the game.
Yeah,
Total 79 yards on the ground, which is by far the lowest margin they've had all year long.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I thought the defense acquitted themselves well all game. Ultimately, when you do as poorly as they did offensively, because they were winning time of possession by a large margin in the first half, and then you had going back to the touchdown that was overturned, or it was called a fumble on the field. I felt like it should have been a touchdown. That was definitely a 10-point swing in a game that you lost by 10 points. But two things can be true. Number one, that was definitely a touchdown. Number two, if Jackson Arnold holds onto the ball, this is not an issue. You cannot fumble the ball there, period.
Yeah, agree.
You can't let go of the ball at all, right? You got to finish the play. There's zero excuse for a veteran quarterback of his
Don't make it a
5-star
conversation.
stature. Yeah, you made it a conversation when you let go of the ball and you put your fate in the referee's hands, and they've shown you 3 games straight. They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Auburn is going to be on the wrong end of most of these calls. So, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot that came out of this press conference. I tried to broadcast it for folks on Twitter. We'll repost the whole thing in its entirety, entire channel, so you guys can go back and watch. But I'm telling you, if you are frustrated with Auburn football, that press conference is not going to do anything to make you feel better. Like, it's not.
Again, I don't know that there's anything he could have said in that press conference that would make anybody feel better about this game. That's just not, there's no comment that makes you feel like, oh man, that's exactly what I wanted to hear Coach Free said. I feel better now.
All right. I guess the question that I had when I said, what does accountability look like? It was, what do you do to get this fixed? You're saying you're going to show up to work. And I'm like, well, as far as I know, you've been doing that all season. So what are you going to do differently when you show up to work that's going to result in a different outcome, at least offensively? And the answer to that question is going to be the key to whether I think he's the coach next year or not. Because at this point, you've proven there's no limit to how you can find ways to lose a football game, which means almost every game you have left on your schedule is up in the air, because if it's as close at the end, we have nothing that says Auburn is going to get it done unless they lead wire to wire. But if you find yourself in a tough game with Missouri, if you find yourself in a tough game with Arkansas, if you find yourself in a tough game with Vanderbilt, if you're a fan, what do you have from the 6 games this season outside of Baylor that says, hey, these guys are going to come through and they're going to get one of these in the clutch, right? So today was, I think, an important mark for the season, Logan, because a goal came off the board for Auburn. Playoffs are out. If you were going to be a fringe playoff team, that's out today with your third loss. And now it's, hey, can Auburn find a way to win 8 games or just exceed expectations? Can you take the Iron Bowl this year? We saw a lot of upsets today. I mean, this was a crazy day in college football, and a lot of teams found themselves on the right side of these close games. We saw Indiana take down Oregon. Washington State came so close to taking out Ole Miss. I really wanted to see that one happen. I Texas rescued their seasons from the depths of hell against Oklahoma today. Other teams are finding ways to get this done. Auburn is not finding ways to get it done. And right now, I think that Hugh Freeze is running out of ways to say we can't. This is not about me specifically, because I don't think it's about the talent. There's enough talent. There was enough talent in that locker room to whoop Georgia's ass for a whole first half. They dominated that game. They were sustaining drives, and they were keeping Gunnar Stockton off the field. So, I mean, I don't know. The only thing that would have made that first half perfect would have been not fumbling the ball at the 1 yard line before the half. And then you go into the half up 17-0. I hate it. My heart breaks for these guys. I thought Perry Thompson, had a day today. For as much as they allowed him to get the ball, I thought he went out and made plays when he was asked to. The tight ends felt like they showed up a little bit more today, although bumbling in certain things on that little whatever that was. Every time they tried to get cute, it failed. On that fourth down where Jackson started to run and then he tried to lob it to, I think, Preston Howard.
Mm-hmm.
He bobbled it. It ended a drive that was across midfield. I don't know. The opportunities were there, guys. It just didn't work out for Auburn today. So they've got to get back to the drawing board. But mostly, I think if you're John Cohen, you've got to worry about losing fans at this point. I do believe the mood. Go look at Twitter right now. Go look at social media. You've got to worry about losing fans. There were audible boos coming from the crowd at the end of this game when they were dropping pat. It looked sloppy on that last drive. There was zero faith in the building that Auburn could muster anything to make it look interesting at the end of this game.
Yeah.
So the air really went out of the building after they took essentially a touchdown away from them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could feel it in here. It was unfortunate, but then Georgia deferred. Georgia deferred. You came out. You get the stop at the half. You get the ball back, and then you do nothing. They did literally nothing in the second half of this game offensively. That's too many games in a row now for it not to be an established pattern that you link back to coaching, preparation, and practice. So, I don't know. I think John Cohen needs to look at all of it. And I think that Hugh Freeze, needs to look within. And I think it's great that he's going to show up to work on Monday because he's getting paid $6 million a year. But I think at this point, fans want to know, what are you going to do differently on Monday that's going to result in a different result for the fans that showed up today. The atmosphere was absolutely electric today. They retired Cam Newton's number. Track T. Will was in the house today. There were a ton of former Auburn players here. It was a great day that all it needed was an Auburn win versus Georgia. I think this was the ninth straight win that they've got versus Auburn, the longest streak in the series. It was a bad record to set today, but, Auburn's got to get back to the drawing board, and they've got to figure out what they're playing for the rest of the season.
Yep, definitely have some things that they need to figure out. Well, Mike G, we appreciate you taking the time to be out there. We'll definitely have more to say about this tomorrow, but get home and get some rest, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Peace. That was Mike G from right there at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Got a couple more super chats in here since we walked away, or since Mike popped in, I should say. To be honest, our guys were in better shape and condition under Harsin. Hey, it is what it is. Another one from Otis says, Ike, on God, we made the same face at the same time. Probably in response to some of these comments. Honestly, how is Coach Hugh Freeze better than Harsin? His record is not. So as a recruiter, that's you ask how, a recruiter. Exclusive TV, the fact that we're doing less with more offensively is eye-opening to me because what the hell else do you need, Hugh? I don't disagree with that. All right. So do you want to stay on for the rest of this? because it's about to get. We're probably about to lose viewers because.
Yeah, hey, I'll let y'all go at it, man. I'll say a couple more things, man. I mean, we've all said the same thing over and over again, man. But look, it's certainly what Mike G just said. How are you going to figure out a way to salvage this season? How are you going to figure out a way to keep this from becoming your 5th straight losing season? Auburn has started 0-3 in SEC play for the 3rd straight season, and that's the first time ever in program history that that's happened.
Yep.
So, I mean, what are you going to do? You've got to find a way to start winning these games, and you're in the midst of a 4-game stretch against top 15 opponents, which I guess Missouri won't be a top 15 opponent anymore, but still, it doesn't get any easier. So
They'll still be ranked. So yeah.
right. So, but what I'm trying to say is it doesn't get any easier, and you've got to find a way to, like Mike G said, you got to find a way to save the fans and keep their butts in the seats and keep them passionate about what's to come, man. But no, look, I'll let y'all get after it. Hey, show them what you're made of, Mike.
I just want to hear what he got to say, man. Matter of fact, I appreciate you, man. We'll definitely be on the lookout for stuff from my guy here on the website. That was our writer there for warreport.com. All right, Steve-O, get you back in here.
Oh, man.
And I'm gonna bring in my dude Paul Meharry. So it's
Oh, man.
all right.
What
Let me hear all of, because you just heard what Mike G said. Let me hear all the reasons why Mike G was wrong or all the things. Come on, let me hear it. Let's go ahead. Because I saw your facial expression when he said that it wasn't a fumble, it should have been a touchdown. So I already know how you feel about that. But what y'all got to say, man?
Go ahead, Steve-O.
Okay. My bad. Oh. Yeah, no, that would listen. Hold on to the damn ball. Excuse me. Hold on to the ball.
Listen,
hold on to the ball. We ain't got to talk about
that.
all this. Hold on to the ball, man. Don't let the referees decide the game. I'm gonna tell you one thing. You're right. It should have been a touchdown. You are absolutely right. For us, because they cheated us because we picked up the damn ball and ran the other way, and they didn't even care about that part of the play. He wasn't touched. He was never down.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
He was not touched. He was never down.
If you're gonna call it a fumble, it's a touchdown.
Here's what I don't understand, because they whistled the play. They didn't have to whistle the play because they initially thought it was a. So here's the thing: if you thought it was a fumble on the field, why was a whistle never blown?
Right, and then also, here's the other thing too. If you look back. And on the replay, it doesn't show it at live time. It shows Kirby touched Kyron Jones while he was running down the field. So it would have been a penalty anyways, because he was pulling to go down the field. So I don't think it would have been a touchdown regardless. What I came on here for, Ike, is because the folks that watch you guys, and I got mad. I got mad love for you and Mike, are good folks, right? And I texted some of my buddies, and after that fumble and the consequential penalties afterwards, I said, I feel dirty. I feel dirty. And it wasn't so much that it was because Auburn was getting shafted. It was because they were doing it to themselves. And it was penalty after penalty. And you look at the second half, I don't know how many yards they got, Ike, and there might have been some garbage time yards, but there was like 15 yards there in the second half. And Auburn had a chance to completely take this game away from Georgia. Yeah. It was in your grasp. And I even tweeted out during the game, I said, look, man, like strange things happen in Jordan-Hare at night.
Yes, sir.
We had a 39. We saw Booger McFarland and Kevin Nagandi, and then we didn't see him for 40 minutes. Them boys stood around. I've done TV before. I do it a lot. Them boys stood around for 40 minutes, waiting on that 2 minutes to be done. And we had review after review. I think overall it was a sloppy game by both teams. I think that The replays didn't help. I think the timeout by Kirby, not timeout.
Hold on.
Okay,
Look, I'm trying. Look what I'm trying to do.
Listen, hold up, Paul.
I'm trying to be real.
That's what I'm saying, Paul. Hold on for a minute, because Steve-O, bro, like, be for real. Be for effing real, my guy. For half a second, be for effing real. For half a second, bro. You're trying to tell me you really think Kirby was clapping?
So I look.
Hold up, time out. Hold up. You ain't never clapped like that before. Wait, time out. Okay, no, for real. Hold up.
No, I about to get this thing demonetized, man.
This man has a clubbed hand. You not finna sit here and tell me you thought he was clapping, bro.
Hold on, wait.
He was mouthing timeout at the same time.
Right. He called timeout.
It was either a timeout or it was a delay of game. You do not reset the play.
As soon as they hit that zero, that clock reset, the coaches whispered, hit Kirby and said, they are clapping. They are alternating our snap count.
That's
y'all are clapping. That's what he should have said from the jump. That's what he called timeout.
That's what he was trying to say, but he was running over there calling timeout.
He was,
and he
okay. All right, cool. As long as you can admit that all right, cool. We good. We can continue the conversation.
Man, you ain't gonna do us like that, man.
Yeah, that's
you ain't gonna do us like that. I'm just being real.
Look. I've never been on the podcast with Steve-O. I know he does with my boy KB, but I've seen your stuff before. And I see what you're saying, but at the same time, he bullied that side judge into exactly what Steve-O's saying.
He bullied him all night long.
Exactly what he's saying is right, though. I'm a 2-time national champ, and this is what I meant. And you can be mad about it, and it is what it is. But at the same time, like, Hugh Freeze doesn't have that. Kirby does.
Yeah.
So Hugh had it. I think when what was his previous Ole Miss, he was kind of like that kind of guy at Ole Miss. He might have had that kind of cachet, but Hugh ain't got it no more. No,
right. There's not many coaches. There's not many coaches that can go to a side judge and say, "Look, they're clapping. I'm not calling timeout," and then they go to the replay and literally show this man calling timeout and yelling timeout. But besides that point, should have been delay a game, whatever the case may be. I got on here to say Auburn had this game won.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing it.
If you play in 2 quarters, if it was a 2-quarter game, I'd agree with you all the way. But
listen, I already said, I opened this up saying, despite all of the stuff that I feel like Auburn got hosed on with calls, you can't let that beat you twice, and it did.
And here's the thing, like, you heard it with Hugh Freeze going into halftime. He almost cost himself $50,000.
He tried not to. He kept trying not to.
He did.
Take the fine, bro. I look, man.
That ain't gonna do nothing right there. That's not gonna change.
But here's the problem though. He went into that locker room and said, "Look, guys, it's 18 versus 11. We got to go out there and beat the refs too." Instead of saying, "All right, this is how we counteract that," he used and we're not in the locker room. I don't know, but it felt like he used the negativity, to try to build positivity instead of trying to get positivity out of his guys, and it didn't work. Like you had Georgia dead to rights.
Yeah,
I
agree. I am not disagreeing with that at all. This isn't. Y'all probably missed me opening up this. I am not sitting here blaming the officials for this game.
But there's gonna be a lot.
I'm coming.
There are. I mean, listen. There is justified outrage about how.
Don't say no. It's not justified. It's not justified. It's not justified.
Chill, bro.
No, it's not.
Chill.
It's not justified. I'm not gonna sit here and let you say it's justified. I'm not gonna let you justify that when you had a 10-point lead. It wasn't like the game was tied.
I said there's justified outrage. I didn't say you're justified in blaming the refs. That's a different statement.
Oh, okay. Well, who you mad at? Who you mad at? Who you outraged at? Because
there is justified outrage with the officiating in this game. That's
no. Factual. Stop that. You're going to blame.
Brother,
You are going to blame.
When I do my film breakdown on this
for
game,
not
I'm gonna
making the
invite you
proper
back to go sit
adjustments.
down and watch this.
That's
film
who we're going to blame. We're going to blame your offensive coordinator because he put that kid in a bad spot and did not get his confidence back after he fumbled that football.
Again,
that's what we're
I did
do.
not say the
That's
official
who we're going to blame for this game.
For this game.
Okay,
You're not listening.
You said officiating.
You hearing this through dog barks that are echoing in your head. I did not say what you are saying. I'm saying. I said.
Let me move the two national championships. Sorry, go ahead. Say it again.
This ain't got
that's
nothing
crazy.
To
That's crazy, bro.
I had to pull the Kirby. I had to. Go ahead,
You're not
man.
hearing me, fam.
I'm listening.
Clearly, you're not, because I did not say the officials are the reason Auburn lost this game. I said there is justified outrage with the way that this game was officiated. And it is. If you say that any differently, you're only saying that because the calls went your way.
Correct.
Exactly. They did not, because there was a third down that y'all jumped on that we didn't get no call. We just threw the ball up thinking it's a free play. No flag.
Steve.
You running out, fam. You jumped all the way out the window, bro.
Let me.
We not gonna do this, bro. We not gonna sit here.
Y'all had 11 penalties. Then you trying to kill my quarterback.
Not gonna win that.
Good God Almighty, you trying to kill my quarterback from the first play. Y'all tried.
It was a legal hit, though.
You had a bounty on my. Tell me the truth. Which one of y'all? You plugged in with the boosters. Which one of y'all put up? Who put the bounty on Gunner-Hare? Because they were trying to kill him all night long, bro.
Bro, what? What?
Targeting.
What is you on
and
right
about
now?
2-3 of them wasn't even called.
This episode of the post game reaction show is clearly sponsored by the Rogue Shop. Y'all hit code report when y'all go over there, because whatever Steve-O got from the Rogue Shop, y'all need some of that, because this man is talking crazy right now. You are saying whatever out your mouth, bro. This is insanity.
Hey, shout out to the Rogue Shop. I got y'all hooked up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that too.
Look, Steve-O. If the calls went the other way, you would be doing the same thing right now. And I'm taking the red and black glasses. I'm putting them down. Look at it from a football perspective of how those penalties racked up. You would be looking at it a different way. That's all. That's all.
We had four penalties. We had 4 penalties. Y'all had 11.
It went in Georgia's favor. That's not to say that Auburn also did not squander their opportunities in the second half. Because
all I said Auburn 100% still had chances in spite of all of that. Auburn can look in the mirror and say to themselves, we blew that opportunity we had.
I was texting my boys. I said, Georgia does not want to win this game. They're giving it back to Auburn. And every time Auburn got the ball in the second half, it was a 3 and out. It was not a good game plan in the second half. And if you want to blame the penalties for it, sure, you can. But let's also go back and look at the second half of Auburn's offense and what it just did not do.
Again, you get zero disagreements from me. And I've said as much, but I'm like, I can't just let you come over here, Steve-O, and say that the officiating, man, we had some calls.
It was bad on both sides. It was bad on both sides. Y'all mad because they damn fumble. Tell your quarterback to tuck it away next time. That's all I'm going to tell you. Tell him to tuck it away. Don't let CJ Allen come punch it through. Did you see him pull them gold spikes out on the side?
For probably the 5th time, I will say to you, I don't disagree with you on that. That ain't got that has half a rat's ass to do with anything that I'm saying. You talking about stuff. I'm over here talking about the sky being blue, and you like, man, I really like Eminem. I ain't talking about that.
Tiger Nation or War Eagle Nation, whatever the hell y'all is. Y'all feel like that the referees and the officiating was
you talking to me. That's what everybody else talking about. You making arguments about other people. I'm talking to you right now. Talk to me.
You feel like it was atrocious, right? I do too.
It was. No. I don't feel like it was atrocious. That's like you saying, man, you feel like your hat has a blue bill on it. It does, bro. It's a blue bill. The officiating was atrocious. This is not a feeling.
We both had to deal with the same officials.
No, you did not. Please,
so they switched
I'm gonna
officials when
rewatch
we
this
got the
game
ball?
with you.
That what you
Me
saying?
and you next week gonna rewatch this game together. I
Break it down.
promise you, you will not win the
I'ma show
who
you
got
all the
screwed
damn
by
holders
officials
that they
more
did not call.
conversation.
They were
That's
wrapping
why I
up
don't even want to
Harris.
have the
They
official
got bear
conversation
hugging
about.
my
I didn't
offensive
enter
line
that into the
defensive line.
conversation about
You
who
need to
wins and
stop
lost.
this. You need to stop this. You need to stop.
You talking
You need to stop this.
crazy?
Okay. Let's get to look. I feel like I'm playing damn Judge Judy right now. Let's get to the bottom of
You
this real
talking
quick.
crazy, bro?
I don't want to blame the offensive coordinator. Who freeze?
Look. Let's get to the bottom of this real quick. I just want to ask
Still talking M&Ms. I don't understand it, man.
I want to ask a very simple question, and I'm sure you've already answered this, Ike, and I apologize because I haven't been watching. Was it a fumble? Yes or no? That's.
Oh yeah, I asked that when I first came on. Tell me what you said.
It was in my opinion, it was a touchdown, and then the ball came out. But again, listen. Here's my thing. Even if that still has, to me, is irrelevant to whether or not Auburn should have won this football game. That one call is not what screwed Auburn.
I don't know if I can agree with that, Ike, because you would be up 17-0. Georgia had zero momentum.
Let me clap. I'm not clapping. I'm calling timeout.
That's correct. Steve,
I'm calling timeout.
Listen,
I'm calling timeout.
You gotta get rid of Steve. Stevo's talking wild, man.
Hold on, real time.
He's talking wild. We still
would have got the ball back if that was a touchdown. We still would have got the ball back with like a minute and 25.
And Georgia had 20 yards in the first half. There was 2 first downs.
100% with you, but I'm just saying if we're gonna live in the world of ifs, because it wasn't a touchdown, it was a fumble.
He asked me a question. I answered the question. I'm not
right. And he said that he thought it was a touchdown, and I said,
no, that's not. See, this is you're not listening again. He did not say that. I said I don't know that would have necessarily been changed in the game, and he was like, I disagree. It would have been 17-0.
We would have got the ball back with a minute and 30 seconds left and went and scored a touchdown.
I do not agree with that.
And we would have got it back coming out of the halftime and scored again. No. So it wouldn't matter. It would have been a 14-17 game.
So y'all would have scored a touchdown, even though on the drive you actually had, you didn't score a touchdown.
We actually were getting ready to make some adjustments that y'all wasn't gonna get ready to do nothing back. I'm telling you, right?
Look.
Florida in the 2-minute offense is deadly. I'm telling you that.
I just got a text message from my buddies who just watched Kirby's press conference. He said we stole that one. And that's what happened. And it's okay. Like it's okay if you're a Georgia fan to say, "Hey, look, we got out of there. We had some calls go our way."
There we go. I'm not gonna do that because we had some calls that didn't go our. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that part. That part ain't gonna work because we had calls that did not go our way too. I gave y'all 4 examples already.
Please stop. I promise you. It's not gonna go in your favor when we go back and watch this game. It's not.
Listen,
I love you, brother. I'm gonna have my road shop here on this show. If I didn't love you, trust me, I'm petty enough to be like, F it and boot you off this beat. You gotta stop, bro, because you talking crazy. This is not a good look for you. When you watch this back, you look crazy right now.
We won.
You look crazy right now.
If you want to talk about winning, come on to this side. Let me tell y'all. Hold on, real quick. If y'all are tired of losing, come to Georgia. The University of Georgia is open. You can come to Athens. Come straight down. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, I'm gonna stop.
You're talking crazy, family. Like,
hey, let's talk about Cam Newton. I'm gonna tell y'all where y'all really lost, right? Because Cam Newton had on that hat.
They gotta be expensive drugs too, is all I'm saying, bro. Like whatever you are on tonight, they gotta be like, you did not spare expenses on whatever narcotic you decided. I don't know if it's natural, I don't know if it's like synthetic, but you did not spare expenses on whatever it was, bro. Congrats to you for whatever is in your budget that allowed you to dig deep into your bag to get whatever you are on tonight.
Hold on, real quick. When y'all brought that one hit wonder out there, y'all should have known y'all were gonna lose. Y'all should have never brought Cam out there anyway.
Look.
You put his jersey up there now because he on ESPN smiling and laughing, and that's the only relevance. That's the only relevance you can get right now. So the man on ESPN, he got this podcast where he going at the Philadelphia Eagles every week, and now you want to throw him in the Hall of Fame, put his jersey up now because he got a little relevance. Y'all worse than the NFL putting Shannon Sharp brother in there. He ain't deserve to go in there either.
Ike, I just want to say,
I'm just gonna
to the comment section, I can't be associated. I can't do it.
They mad at me because I'm letting him still be up here and talk, man. You know what? Matter of fact, bro, I'm gonna do what the chat.
I'm about to go, man. I'm about to go.
You gotta talk tomorrow.
Me and you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 11:30, man. Y'all check me out, man. Total Sport. I got more. Wait, I got film tomorrow. I got footage. I'm gonna bring the footage.
Nah, you don't want to go to the film, bro. All right, man, Steve. I'm gonna let you get up out of here. I'm gonna let you get up out of here. I'm gonna let you get to sleep, my boy.
Bye, man. Peace.
Let me get to my super chats, bro. Lance Morgan says, after 2 weeks, and that's what you put on the field, I think the damage is done at this point. It won't be sold out against Missouri. Another one from Lance who says, if Lee's target counted the one from Cash from GA, what? I ain't even talk about that one, bro.
I don't. Okay, from a opposing standpoint, I don't know. Truly, I don't know if that was targeting. And again,
his helmet made contact with his chin.
It looked like the helmet made contact with the shoulder first. But
no, I'm talking about the blindside block. I'm not talking about the tight end.
The blindside block was if you ask most Georgia fans, they're going to say that's a makeup call, is what it looked like on that play. Either way, it didn't affect the outcome of the game.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I mean, his helmet contacted my man's chin, so like I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, floppy toppy Ike. No matter the calls, Coach Hugh Freeze is a loser with a loser culture. 50 yards in the second half of Oklahoma and 25 yards tonight. He has to go hire Signetti. I don't think that Auburn's going to hire a coach that old, regardless of what you feel about Coach Hugh Freeze.
Look, I would take I'd take Signetti, dude.
This is not Ike Jones's opinion about who should be hired. I'm telling you what I think Auburn would do.
Right.
Ryan says Auburn's so good we block in the back on a touchback. That is crazy. Floppy Top, he comes back, says, get this guy off the show with these trash takes. Take your tainted win and piss off. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I probably lost so many viewers.
I tried. Look. What I was trying to do was be a reasonable Georgia voice to come on here.
Listen, you are bringing reason to the conversation, man, and I appreciate it. But listen, man. Again,
and the reason I joined up was because I appreciate you guys. Like, I'm not BSing you guys, and I've said this numerous times. Like, the Auburn fan base is as loyal as they come, and they are by far, bar none, besides Georgia, obviously, the best fan base in the SEC. They stick with their program no matter what. They're not a school. They're not the state school like Alabama is. They just aren't. And they got mad true fans, dude. And I appreciate those guys because they understand ball. They understand, watching film and looking at all that stuff. And you guys over here at the War Report do a great job, man. So I wanted to hop on and try to give a voice of reason from a different perspective, because I understand from watching that game. Like I said, man, I watched that game and I was like, after the fumble, which it's going to be a true 50-50 split on if you thought that was a fumble or not.
I said at the time, I was like, the problem with the review is the call on the field was fumble. If the call on the field had been touchdown,
sure, I
think that call stands. I think they were going to go with whatever was called on the field at the end of that review because it was way too close.
I think there was a view, and we didn't see it. Unfortunately, we saw it early on in that review process, and also that review process was tremendously too long. Just yes. no matter which way it went, touchdown or not, it kind of skewed the game in a weird way. There was a review we saw early on where it looked like that ball was coming out before it got punched out. We didn't get to see that, and this is my perspective.
I got you.
We didn't get to see that again, and all they showed us was slowed down copy of that. They showed us the quick initial reaction video footage, excuse me, right at the beginning. After that, it was all slowed down footage, and I feel like you can slow it down to a point, show us a couple angles of that, but show us the real time what the refs were seeing, a little bit more, because that paints a picture too. Because all we saw for, God, it felt like 5 minutes there was these super slowed down, like, clip by clip things. If you see it and you go back and really look at it, I think, and again, there's no, if you were coming on my show and say, and it was roles reverse, Georgia fans would be like, no, dude, it was a touchdown. No matter what. There's nothing I can say to any Auburn fan right now to be like, hey, it was a fumble.
That's the only point I was making to Steve-O. I was like, bro, if this was the other way around, you wouldn't be.
Right. That's fandom. That's what makes this sport so special, bro. Is that we both looked at the same exact play, and because you got blue and orange glasses on and I got red and black glasses on, we saw it a different way. But at the end of the day, it was a good football game, and Auburn had opportunities in that second half to take advantage of this game, and they just didn't. And I think regardless, I do believe that if Auburn scores there, it's extremely, extremely hard for Georgia to come back 17-0, and Georgia just has zero momentum in that first half. So you score there, I think the game's probably over. Georgia is a second half team. We've seen it throughout the whole season. Auburn fans haven't watched 60 minutes of every Georgia game. They are a second half.
I in my pregame breakdown, I was like, you got to play 4 quarters against Georgia. They're not just going to roll over and let you have the game, regardless of what happens in the first half.
And there's plenty of Georgia fans now that are upset about this win because the first half defense in every game they've played in SEC play looks completely different than how they played in the second half. And there's plenty of Auburn fans that looked at that first half and said, look, we have what it takes to win. And they didn't come out and do it in the second half. I don't know. And I think I'll get off of here because I'll let you do your thing. But I think what a lot of Auburn fans are feeling right now, and I could be totally wrong, is that they want Hugh Freeze gone.
There's definitely a very loud contingent of that.
Okay. So if that's the case, who do you feel could come in? Like Kirk Signay would be a nice choice. What he's done in Indiana. I mean, he's proven to be a good choice. Does he want to leave Indiana? Because Auburn now is in a weird spot to where you've only got about 2 years before folks really want to kick down your door and kick you out of your house. And that's a tough environment, especially in the NIL and all that, to where it's tough to turn a team around in 2 years. And it's also tough to go to boosters again after you just fired another coach and a new coach comes in and says, hey, man, I need 18 million. I need 20 million to rebuild this program. Believe in me. Because the last guy, Hugh Freeze, that you just fired, said the same thing 18 months ago. So I think you either need to, and we talked about this a long time ago, Ike, before I had my 2 kids. So that Hugh Freeze probably wasn't the move to go to, but you did it. So now you have to kind of face that repercussion of, we went with Hugh Freeze. We kind of have to live with that in a sense. Like you go to another coach. Sure, you can buy him out. Yellowwood, bro, you could buy him out tomorrow. You got the money to do it, but it's the starting over process and the NIL process and how college football and a lot of fans need to realize that there is parity in college football now. Georgia is not the same team that it was back in 21 and 22. They don't have the depth. Nobody has depth anymore. You have to realize that this is a game-by-game league, and this was a tough loss for Auburn. This could have been and the folks that are saying, all right, let's fire Hugh Freeze. If he wins this game, you want to keep him around? So it's on a game by game basis now. Is 100% how it rolls?
It is. Yeah, it's going to be that ebb and flow will go game by game for sure. But at this point in time, I don't like that the only way that changes for him at this point in time is he's got to go undefeated for the. I don't know that there's an acceptable loss left on his schedule.
Who do you guys have left?
Missouri, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mercer, and Bama.
Where's that Missouri game?
Home next week.
I think you got to win that game.
Oh, I left out Arkansas. Excuse me, Arkansas too. Oh yeah, no, like I'm saying, there's not an acceptable loss left on this schedule. I don't think he can lose any more games. And people are like you can't lose to Bama now because you already lost one rivalry game. You can't lose to Vanderbilt. You can't lose to Kentucky. They look like crap. You can't lose to Arkansas. They've looked like crap. And you can't. And next week you have to get a win next week. There's not an acceptable loss left where fans will look at it and be like, I understand that. And that's it. You got to go undefeated for the rest of the season.
That game next week's gonna be tough. Both of those teams are fighting for a win in different ways. I will leave you with this, Ike. It was a very if you're just a college football fan in general, I think it was a very fun game to watch. It was those look maybe sans Auburn fans, right? But those 2 minutes at the end of the second half were some of the most entertaining 2 minutes.
I was not entertained at all by the last 2 minutes. I wasn't.
Look, it was entertaining in the fact that how things went down. You had multiple things go on those 2 minutes: fumbles, targeting, penalties, and none of them really went Auburn's way. So I get why you're not entertained. I understand that. But it was, if you're watching from a college football standpoint, I think it was a very wild game. I think also the SEC officiating maybe needs to look at this and say, all right, how can we get better at the ACC does a really good job of this, I think, on their Thursday night games, of where you can tune in and listen to the replay officials. Maybe be more transparent, because it will help. I think it will help. And had this game gone the other way, right? Had this been a touchdown instead of a fumble, Georgia fans would be going crazy right now. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That's why I came on to be like, hey man, I understand what you guys are going through. Like, I'm not trying, I'm not here to be like Steve-O was, and God bless him, man. Like, it was a fumble, like, da 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 da. No, like it's tough, man. When you lose a game like that and you think it's truly a touchdown, that shit, excuse my language, that stuff sucks, bro. Like, there's no way around it, and especially when your team and everybody is kind of rallying around this whole, all right, well, is Hugh Freeze going to be our coach now? This, that, and the other. Like, it really sways the true trajectory of your program.
Yeah,
and
it 100% does.
And it's unfortunate for you guys that it went the opposite way. So. But all I was saying was those last 2 minutes, where it took 39 minutes, was absolutely crazy football. Whether you liked it or not, it was entertaining. But I do feel like the SEC needs to look into it and maybe say, all right, we need to have a transparency of the ACC to where these fans that are watching on TV can. I'm
going to say this right now. I talk to the head of the officials every year at SEC Media Days for the last 2 seasons I have. If they don't proactively say it, I'm going to ask him myself. I'll be like, bro, can we get this? Because fans want it.
Yeah. I mean, because the problem is when you're sitting there, so Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy were on the call tonight.
Yep.
And they were very pro Auburn on that fumble.
They were. They were clear that they thought it was a touchdown.
Correct. And when you're looking at it from the opposing side, just like if the roles were reversed here, you want to be able to, instead of hearing those two guys, because me from what I was watching, I thought the ball came out, right? And I'm not going to argue that with you because there's no point to.
Right.
But the only two talking heads you can hear are differing opinions of what I'm thinking I saw. So why can't I just listen to what the SEC officials are saying instead of listening to these two guys trying to, what you're trying to do? Like, I've been on TV before. I've literally done play-by-play. What you're trying to do is fill time, and you don't know how much time you have to fill. So then you just start word jumbling. And you get into this point where Sean McDonough was like, "That's a touchdown. What do you think there? Oh my God!" Like, you don't really know, bro. You're not watching what they're watching in the SC office. So let's see what they see, and let's put it on air. And right or wrong, we at least know what they're talking about, as opposed
I
to
agree.
having to
I
hear
think it
them.
needs to happen.
So that's all I'm saying, man. Peace and love, brother. I know you guys are going through it, but again, the Auburn fan base, whenever I've come on you guys' shows, been super positive. And besides Georgia, man, I think Auburn is the place to be, man. Like, you guys really got a good fan base. And of course, always support the War Report, send in your super chats. These guys know what they're talking about. They're true fans of the game. And we just appreciate you having me on, bro.
Appreciate you, Paul, man. It's good to see you, bro.
You too, bro. Be good.
All right. Peace. Joining us live now, my guy C-Dub is in the place to be. Caesar.
You scraping the bottom of the barrel, my guy. You got good God. What's up, Paul, by the way? What's up, Paul? God dang, Ike. Could have been a 30-minute when you got out of here, my guy.
They asked to come on, and I told Steve-O before the game, win or lose, come back into the post game. And if he had faced the music after L, I would have, you know what I'm saying. But I told him, win or lose, you could come on here.
Sheesh.
Paul asked, come on, Paul. You know, he's a friend of mine. Like, cool, man.
Paul,
come on,
cool.
say your piece,
Paul,
bro.
Paul. We've done content with Paul. But yeah, I had to throw that joke in here once I got in here. What's the date? The 11th?
Yes.
Same-ish.
Yeah.
Just a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta have to come up with creative ways to say the same thing. Right?
I mean, I don't know that there is a new way to say the same thing, man. It is what it is at this point.
That's just where we are. Like, what do you listen, the defense. God, man, holding Georgia, the same Georgia team that just went crazy in Knoxville. You held them to 3 points, dog. 3 points in the first half.
Yeah.
And
they barely got them 3.
Barely got and they had a lot of help to get that 3. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And in a game where the refs absolutely made it about them in the first half, the offense comes out and basically removes the narrative away from the refs for all the wrong reasons, because they just disappeared. They just disappeared, Ike. And
it's inexplicable what happened offensively in the second half of that game.
Yeah, listen. I know. I've been reading the comments. Ike, and I get it. I think the Hugh Freeze situation will take care of itself eventually. I think the way he's running this team, I think you've given some fair critiques of him in terms of him trying to be a play caller and head coach. And there are situations where he has to be one. He has to be the head coach, but can't do it because he's trying to get the next play call dialed up. The way he's running the program, in my opinion, Ike, I think he's in over his head. Unless he makes a true pivot and hand the reins over to someone that he can trust to run the offense, truly hand it over, I think he's in over his head. And unless he gets that, I don't even know at this point, Ike, if he has time to correct that, to be honest.
Yeah. And I said this earlier. I don't know if you've been listening the entire time. To me, what is the clear indication that Coach Hugh Freeze is trying to do too much was the play in which he called a timeout in the second half, because he was trying to argue with an official about whether or not Marshall was targeted on that second down.
It was an errant timeout.
And the only reason he did that is because he can't argue with the official and call the play at the same time. So he would have been wasting his time trying to argue with an official that he could have been calling a play into Jackson Arnold. He needs to be able to separate himself from that and chew the official out while somebody else is calling a play into Jackson. And then if the officials decide, hey, we're gonna go look at it again, and because he's persuaded them enough, fine. But if not, let the play continue to happen and go out there and that is to me the biggest indicator of like, yo, we it's come off of the rails, bro.
Yeah.
We don't have our arms around this right now. You are too much into the weeds of stuff that you need to have your hands off of.
Agreed. And it's not working. It's just not working. This is your side of the ball, and the defense kept you in this game for what, 58 minutes, and you couldn't even muster a point.
Yeah.
If obviously we know Hugh Freeze is coaching for his life at this point. I don't know how you lose 3 straight SEC games. We talked about how this is the 3rd straight year where Auburn has started off 0-for in conference play. Ike, I don't know how you continue to if Hugh Freeze accepts that, if he accepts the fact that his back is against the wall and he has to make something happen starting next week against Missouri, I don't know how you do that and continue this Jackson Arnold experiment.
Yeah, I listen, man.
I don't know.
I don't want to get on here and sound like I'm blaming Jackson Arnold. I don't, because I'm not blaming him, but I am laying at his feet the things that you could have done better, man. Like you just, again, I've called out Hugh Freeze already on needing to separate himself from that process. I think he let the officiating beat his team, and he shouldn't have. You got to find, but what Auburn needed the absolute most was a leader on the field, and they found it. No, and you're not going to get that from an offensive lineman. You're not going to get that from a wide receiver or a running back.
Yeah.
It needs to be. I'm not saying Jackson Arnold has to be a Heisman caliber quarterback, but he needed to lead tonight, and he did not.
Ike, listen, you were in the friendly confines of Jordan-Hare. You went in Norman, Oklahoma. You wasn't in College Station. And to see him lose poise like that, even on the sideline when he slammed his helmet down, I saw a QB that had lost it.
Yeah.
He didn't have it. And at this point in the season, is he where you thought he would be? Is he where you hoped he would be as a head coach?
Right.
You can't say the answer to that can't be yes.
No,
it can't.
He hasn't had a good second half since Baylor. And I'm including the cupcake games. He has not had a good second half since Baylor.
Yeah. I don't know how you continue this. I really don't. I don't really know how you continue this, because you can't change personnel and responsibilities mid-season like this. Right? And it'd be a smooth transition. The only thing that you can change, Ike, at this point is that position.
Yeah.
Like I was willing to forgive the overthrow to Cam Coleman. It took me some time against Oklahoma because that was egregious. I felt like if given the opportunity again, he'll make good on that throw, and he did it again, Ike. He did it again.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He missed several people in the second half. Several wide open people, easy throws. You're missing people. I don't know how you continue this experiment. I really don't. Obviously, you don't want to put Deuce Knight his first start against Missouri. And I get that. You got another QB.
When do you turn to him, though? If you're going to turn to him, when do you? Like, do you have to wait until you go on the road versus Arkansas?
But if your back is against the wall, this is my point, what do you have to lose at this point? Yeah. I don't know how you continue to do that. Now you ain't even teetering. You're full-blown insanity if you continue this experiment, expecting something different against another good SEC opponent.
Yeah.
I don't know how this continues. I don't
either, man. I don't either. A couple more super chats here. Lance Morgan with both of them. Booger McFarland, said it was a touchdown. I think literally everyone who's not a Georgia fan looked at that and said, "Oh, that's a touchdown." Like I don't. And listen, some non-Georgia, I saw it all over social media. People was like, "Yo, that is crazy. That's definitely a touchdown." McElroy said he had never seen a swap like this in a game. I mean, it was again, and hear me clearly, all of you people incapable of like being able to parse out nuance. I am once again, I started the entire thing with this, and I will let you get the final word, Caesar, because this will be the last thing I will say. I will end my commentary on this and say Auburn did not lose this game strictly because of officiating. I have said that multiple times on this live stream.
No,
You were
they
up
did.
at the half by a
did.
touchdown. As bad as the officiating was, you still had an opportunity to win this football game had you not lost composure. And you let whatever your feelings were about the officiating carry on for the remainder of that game, and you lost your composure. And that goes from the head coach all the way down to the punter, offensive lineman, your quarterback, running back stopped seeing the field. Everybody lost composure in that second half. Even the defense. I know people want to like laud this defense because, oh man, they didn't get any help from the offense. All of that is true. You still gave up 17 points in the second half. You can't do that and win football games. Had you gotten the touchdown, that would have tied the game up. If it was 17-0 at the half and you gave up 17 in the second half to tie football game at the end of this situation, and they missed a field goal, your defense folded when they needed to get you a couple more stops. And they got enough stops for you to win. That's not the point. The point is nobody played well enough to win that football game in the second half. Not the offense, not the defense, nobody. And nobody gets to escape blame for the way that this team collapsed. It's a total team loss in the second half of that game. That's all I got to say. I'm going to let you get the last word, see what else you got to say.
I ain't got nothing else to say, man. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'll think of something else tomorrow.
All right. Well, we will be back on here tomorrow talking more about this game. I probably got so many thumbs down on this live stream from the between what Steve-O did and people disagreeing with what I said and people hating because they don't like well, not hating on us, but they're hating the outcome of this game. We have probably more dislikes of this stream than we've ever had on any stream before.
I just got home because you know what I mean. I've been out. I had to lay to rest a loved one today.
Right.
But
condolences once again to your father-in-law.
Thank you. But I was like, we got to end this stream on a high note. So you had goodness gracious.
As high notes go, it couldn't end with Steve-O and
no,
Paul,
we couldn't.
sure.
You couldn't do that. So no, I'm here to say, y'all, it's okay. It's all right. It's
all right, man. Well, we're out of here. I appreciate all the love. Super chat from Zach Dixon says Auburn's offense was on the field like 7 minutes in the second half. It was not on them. I mean, listen. There's a lot of blame to go around is all I'm saying. It's not on just one thing. And that's my point is like we can assign percentages of blame and a heavy portion of that percentage is not going to go to the defense, but it's not zero. That's my whole point. It's not zero. All right. Anyway, we're out of here, man. Weekend tailgate tomorrow. I'm sure the other guys on the network will have plenty of reactions. I don't even want to know what Dustin has to say about this. He is going to go nuclear about this one.
He was going nuclear on Twitter.
Yeah, so going to be a lot of interesting conversations in the Auburn sphere for the next 7 days as we get past Georgia and move on to Missouri. Before y'all get out of here, if you haven't already, please like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, unsubscribed, resubscribe maybe when you're not feeling as mad about the Georgia guys being on here. Again, we'll be back on you guys with the weekend tailgate tomorrow. Until then, and as always, War Eagle. Peace.